Hey guys, how's it going? Ghostly Rich here today, and today we're going to be swapping out a deck on this RV. Now the thing is if you've got a stereo like this, and you're like, oh man, I'm just curious on how I'm going to be able to get my stereo out. It's got a cage around it, and I don't have the keys. You have two options. You can either go buy some multi-key piece, so you can get those slide-in stereo key pieces, or the other way you can do it, of course, is you can try two flat blades on the side. It might be hard, but if you don't care about the deck anyway, you can just squeeze it and ram it in there and try and pull it out after, because a lot of the times they're just like this, and they're sitting in the sides of your stereo. This is the old one here, like that. So they're just sitting there. So your major thing you want to do is be able to pry them away from the opening, so that way you can get the deck. As you can see, this one sat at the back, and then if you would have slid a flat blade in, it would push it away, and you could squeeze that deck out. And then as we can see here, it's just a couple Phillips to get this cage out, because we're not going to reuse that with the new one. What's cool with this new deck is, if I show you, it's got a nicer face. What happened and why we had to get a new stereo is because the factory one, the disc player stopped working almost right away. So as you can see right here, we have new mounting holes. So what's going to happen is that'll mount over, and then this big casing slides right on top of it and would cover it. Now the good thing is you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what the heck? What if that one dies and you're stuck with having to find new mounts? Well, the cool thing is with these metal mounts, a lot of new stereos, these should bolt right on there, and then you can just slide and use the same trim ring. Yeah, it does say, you know, maybe a brand's name on it, but I much prefer that over a cage. It's just more solid. The only good thing about a cage is it's harder for a thief to break into, but it's completely up to you on what you want to do. And if you have a cage, it's pretty easy that way. You could just pull it out and then remove it. And the other thing I will tell you is, let's say you have a JVC deck in here and you want it to be super simple, you don't want to rewire it. You might get away with buying just a new JVC deck, and it might plug in. Just make sure you check your plugs. Super important. Anyways, I've got all my stuff right here. If you're shopping for a new stereo, if you do have a DVD combo, make sure you buy one that plays DVDs. Just because it says it plays CDs doesn't mean it will play DVDs. So I'm gonna get this ready to rewire. I can see we're just gonna copy right off of these ones right here. As you can see, we got AC and yellow for this one that are just gonna splice into one. And then we've got our ground, and then our speakers, and just color match them. It's very easy. And then if you, for some reason, have aftermarket amps, it's pretty easy. Make sure you wire your remote wire into your amplifiers. But for this one, we just have antenna. And looking over this, the antenna wire was not used, so I don't have to wire that antenna wire. So I'll cut that and I'll clean it up. But other than that, match color to color. And then I'll show you once I start bolting new stuff in. Another thing you might want to do, I always suggest this, sorry I didn't mention this before, but see how this is our fuse panel here. Make sure you go to the radio harness here, and all I did is I pulled that one out. I pulled that fuse out so that way our power is not live. Once you've gone through, make sure all your stuff is soldered or crimped and done up. I like this a little bit better than these caps. I think these caps are, they're all right. Up to you what you want to do. And then you can always clean this up. Just throw a couple rounds of tape here and there, or zap straps, whatever you want to do, but I like electrical tape. Clean that up, and then we'll plug in our deck and then slide it in. If you've got a cage, you would put your new cage in now. And let's quickly show you what you would do. If you're not going to be bolting it in like they did, you'll flick up these teeth, and you'll flip them down, and then as you slowly flip teeth down, they will slowly lock in like barbs and hold that cage in, and then you just slide your deck in after you plug it in, and then your trim ring would just click on. That's the easy way. This one we're actually gonna have to bolt it in, so I'm gonna have to see how close I can bring that to here and then go to here, but I'm gonna take a look and go from there. Might have two locking screws on the top of the deck. If you do, all you have to do is unscrew those two locking screws. It's actually labeled. You'll see like how those are labeled like that, those little ribbons. It'll say, please remove these screws before install. From this point, just put your fuse back in. Once you put your fuse back in, and you come over here and you press the button on your deck, it should turn on. I just went through, checked mine. I have sound. I can't show you any sound because anything on the radio is copyright. So anyways, it's ready to go. Now I'm just gonna do is get this as close as I can to here. I see this has got a cover, and I'll probably throw two screws in. what I'm gonna probably end up doing here is I'm actually, well, now that that came off, I'm gonna actually notch out this cover so that way, or I'll see if I can slide this over if I loosen the screws a little bit. So once you get those screws in there like so, these two I had to put a little bit on an angle, and then these ones I did straight in. So those two are the major supporters of the deck, and then these ones I still put them in, but they're on a tiny bit of an angle. And then I just notched out there. I've got to file that down a little bit just to clean it up. But I mean, you're barely even gonna notice it once it clicks in, but clicks in there, sit it in there, make sure our clips are in, flip that open, flip that closed, and it's nice and clean. That's all there is to this. Anyways, I hope this helped you install a new stereo in your motorhome. And yeah, that's all there is to this. I mean, it's not too crazy. If you're dealing with an A/B switch, it's pretty easy. I mean, that's a separate piece altogether. But if it's all in one, or it's an all-in-one unit, make sure you get one with an A/B built in, because having that A/B is so much better for doing it. Because right now, how they've set this up is there's 2 speakers inside, 2 speakers outside. So you have to fade inside, or sorry, fade to front for the inside and fade to back if you just want the outside playing, which is annoying. And it's, I don't know, it all depends on how fussy you are. I would prefer the A and B, so you could just turn 2 knobs or whichever to control it. But other than that, there you go. That's for installing this Fusion stereo here. And I hope this helps you out. Anyways, thanks again for watching. Like if you didn't, subscribe for more.